Remember the girl next door from Vivah who made every mother-in-law dream about having her as a daughter-in-law? The stunning beauty from Gajini who broke box office records? The fresh face from Jannat who captured hearts with her innocent charm? The powerhouse performer from Tere Naam who made us cry buckets? These weren't just pretty faces who got lucky. They were talented actresses who ruled our hearts, dominated box offices, and seemed destined for decades of stardom. They had everything: talent, beauty, hit films, and audiences who adored them. But then, they just became afterthoughts. Where did they go, and what really happened? Some vanished at the peak of their careers, others slowly faded away, and a few made shocking comebacks that reminded us exactly what we'd been missing. From marriage and motherhood to industry politics, from personal choices to family betrayals, from mental health struggles to plain old-fashioned bad luck. Today we're uncovering the real, unfiltered reasons why 11 promising Bollywood actresses lost their Bollywood spotlight unexpectedly. This is CelebrAsian, and we're about to go on a trip to find out where these Bollywood actresses are now. Before we dive into this fascinating countdown, hit that subscribe button and ring that notification bell, because today we're about to become Sherlock Holmes. Now, we've ranked these actresses from 11 to 1 based on their genuine acting talent, box office impact, memorable performances, and the fascinating stories behind their disappearances. Please note, we're not here to judge any of their personal choices or circumstances. Starting our countdown at number 11, the absolutely gorgeous Sonal Chauhan, Miss World Tourism 2005 turned actress. She made what seemed like a promising debut with Imran Hashmi in the 2008 hit Jannat. Let's be completely honest here. While Sonal had the stunning looks that could launch 1,000 magazine covers and the poise that comes from winning international beauty pageants, her acting skills were, well, let's call them a work in progress. Her dialogue delivery often felt rehearsed rather than natural, and her emotional range was very limited. But here's where we give credit where it's due. Sonal was smart enough to recognize her limitations in Hindi cinema and found her groove in South Indian films, particularly Telugu cinema, where she worked steadily and showed gradual improvement. Her later performances showed she was willing to learn and grow as an actress. The real tragedy of Sonal's Bollywood story isn't her acting limitations, it's the industry's politics. She candidly revealed in interviews that she almost got a few films, but later someone else did it. A classic case of how nepotism and industry connections matter. Without a godfather in the industry or family connections, even Miss World Tourism couldn't guarantee a sustainable Bollywood career. But Sonal's still working and can be seen here and there, still stunning and still proving that sometimes the best revenge against industry politics is simply refusing to completely disappear. Number 10 brings us Gita Basra, the British-born actress who got caught in Bollywood's most ridiculous assumption game and paid the price for a marriage that hadn't even happened yet. Her story is a masterclass in how the industry's biases can destroy promising careers. Let's talk acting first. Gita wasn't going to win any national awards, that's true. Her performances were competent, but not groundbreaking, adequate, but not exceptional. She had decent screen presence and could handle both romantic scenes and dramatic moments, though her dialogue delivery sometimes felt mechanical. In a fair world, that would be enough for a steady, if not spectacular, career. But here's where her story becomes genuinely infuriating. Gita's career wasn't destroyed by lack of talent or audience rejection, it was destroyed by the industry's medieval mindset about marriage and women's commitment to their careers. In her own heartbreaking words, "Everyone just assumed that we'll be getting married soon. I lost 4 big films because the makers just assumed that I wasn't interested in working anymore. I didn't have anyone to defend me or take my side. It's funny because back then we were actually just friends." Think about this. She lost film opportunities because people assumed she might be getting married soon. Not because she was married, not because she was pregnant, but because she might potentially, possibly, maybe get married in the future. It's a kind of logic that would be hilarious if it wasn't so damaging to women's careers. Gita eventually did marry Harbhajan Singh in 2015 and chose to focus on family life. She seems genuinely happy, but we'll never know what kind of actress she could have evolved into if the industry had given her a fair chance. Number 9 is Sameera Reddy, the actress who chose family over fame, authenticity over artificiality, and mental health over movie stardom. And honestly, she might be the smartest person on this entire list. Let's analyze Sameera's acting abilities objectively. She was never going to be the next Nutan or Smita Patel, but she had something many actresses lack: self-awareness and confidence in her strengths. She knew exactly what she could do and played to those strengths well. Sameera excelled in glamorous roles and had a natural confidence that translated beautifully on screen. Her performances in Musafir were bold and unapologetic. Her interactions with Anil Kapoor in Race were convincing and entertaining, and she showed she could handle comedy as well as drama. She wasn't versatile in the traditional sense, but she was absolutely effective enough. But here's what makes Sameera's story unique and admirable. She made conscious, informed decisions about her career and life. After experiencing severe postpartum depression following her first child's birth, she was brutally honest about the industry's pressures. In her own words, "I have to look 24 to come to the movies. I don't want to undergo treatments like Botox." Instead of succumbing to the pressure to artificially maintain her youth, she chose to age naturally and focus on her mental health and family. Sameera moved to Goa, embraced motherhood completely, became a mental health advocate, and uses her platform to promote body positivity and authentic living. She lost the spotlight, but found something more valuable: peace and self-acceptance. Years ago, I was hooked to a song, Lagi Lagi Lagi. And if you remember this song, then you have great music taste, like me. But it also means you remember our number 8 entrant, Udita Goswami, the actress who literally chose beats over box office, passion over paychecks, and artistic fulfillment over acting fame. Her story is about following your heart, even when it leads you away from conventional success. Let's analyze Udita's acting honestly. She had a raw, natural screen presence that was particularly effective in bold, unconventional roles. Her debut in Pop opposite John Abraham showed she wasn't afraid of challenging content, and her work in films like Zehar demonstrated genuine emotional depth. Udita's acting style was unpolished in a technical sense, but it had an authenticity that many trained actresses lack. She brought a realistic, unvarnished quality to her performances that made her characters feel genuine rather than manufactured. What made Udita special wasn't just her willingness to take on bold content, it was her complete commitment to being authentic. In an industry that often demands actresses to fit into specific molds, she remained determinedly herself. But here's what makes Udita's story genuinely inspiring. After her last film, Diary of a Butterfly, in 2012, she completely reinvented herself as a professional DJ. She didn't just dabble in music, she took it seriously, got professional training, and built a new career from scratch. Now part of the influential Bhatt family through her marriage to director Mohit Suri, Udita could have easily coasted on family connections to revive her acting career. Instead, she chose to honor her true passion for music and never looked back. That's artistic integrity. Coming at number 7, Bhumika Chawla, the actress who gave us one of Bollywood's most emotionally devastating performances in Tere Naam, but became a victim of the industry's most frustrating politics game. Let's establish this right away. Bhumika was genuinely talented. Her performance opposite Salman Khan in Tere Naam wasn't just good, it was exceptional. She managed to hold her own against one of Bollywood's biggest superstars and delivered a performance that was both heartbreaking and authentic. What made Bhumika special was her ability to convey complex emotions without melodrama. Her acting felt natural and unforced, with that rare quality of making audiences feel her character's pain without being manipulative about it. That's genuine acting talent. After Tere Naam's massive success, Bhumika should have become one of Bollywood's leading ladies. She had the talent, the audience appeal, and the industry recognition. So, what went wrong? Politics, pure and simple. Bhumika was originally cast in films like Jab We Met and Munna Bhai MBBS, but got replaced when production houses changed or lead actors were switched. These weren't creative decisions based on her acting ability. They were business decisions that had nothing to do with talent. Then came the marriage penalty, after she married yoga teacher Bharat Thakur in 2007 and had son Yash in 2014. The industry made assumptions about her availability and commitment. In her own words, people started assuming she isn't interested anymore in working since she's married and a mother. Bhumika fought back against these assumptions and continues working, primarily in South Indian cinema where she's highly respected. Her story proves that talent doesn't disappear with marriage, but unfortunately, opportunities often do. Meet Gracy Singh, the trained classical dancer who gave us two of Bollywood's most beloved movies in Lagan and Munna Bhai MBBS, but then chose a path that shocked everyone, spirituality over stardom. Let's talk about Gracy's talent first. She was genuinely gifted. Her debut as Gauri in the Oscar-nominated Lagan wasn't just impressive, it was authentic. She brought a natural, rustic charm that made her village belle character feel real rather than constructed. Gracy's special talent was her classical dance background. She was a master of Bharatanatyam and Odissi, which gave her an inherent grace and body language that translated beautifully on screen. Her performances felt grounded and genuine. After the massive success of Lagan and Munna Bhai MBBS, Gracy should have become one of Bollywood's leading ladies. She had talent, major hits, and critical recognition, so what went wrong? Here's where Gracy's story gets both sad and inspiring. After her manager's death in 2008, she lost her industry connections and navigation system. In her own words, "I didn't want to call up filmmakers much after that. I didn't even have contacts." But instead of fighting the industry's politics, Gracy made a remarkable choice. She joined the Brahma Kumari's World Spiritual University in 2013, finding peace in spirituality. She didn't disappear. She evolved. Now 45 and still single by choice, Gracy continues working in television, maintains her dance practice, and seems genuinely content with her spiritual journey. Sometimes the best career move is choosing inner peace over external validation. At the halfway mark now, and we still have so much to cover, so that we don't disappear, please hit that like and subscribe button, ring the bell, and let's continue at number 5, that celebrates Ileana D'Cruz, the actress who gave us some genuinely unforgettable performances, but prioritized her mental health and family over industry pressures, and we're honestly here for it. Let's talk about Ileana's acting abilities first, because this woman was genuinely talented. Her Bollywood debut in Barfi wasn't just impressive, it was spectacular. She held her own opposite Ranbir Kapoor and Priyanka Chopra, and those two delivered some of their finest performances in Barfi. She managed to make a complex character both lovable and flawed, and showed incredible range for a debut performance. What made Ileana appealing was her versatility. Many actresses struggle to convincingly switch between genres, but Ileana made it look effortless. Her performances consistently received critical acclaim, and she worked with A-list actors like Akshay Kumar, Ajay Devgan, Ranbir Kapoor and Shahid Kapoor. By all conventional measures, she was building a solid, sustainable career in Bollywood. But here's what makes Ileana's story both important and admirable. She was courageously honest about her struggles with body dysmorphic disorder, depression, and the toxic pressures of the entertainment industry. In her own powerful words, this industry can sort of engulf you and pull you down and cause so much negativity where it can just cause you to doubt yourself as an actor. She also opened up about body dysmorphia, saying there was a point when she was super skinny and yet felt fat. Instead of suffering in silence like many actors do, Ileana chose to prioritize her mental health, seek therapy, and eventually step back from the relentless pressure of Bollywood. Now a mother of 2 and married to Michael Dolan, she still acts by taking selective projects while focusing on her well-being. Ileana's story is proof that sometimes the most successful career move is knowing when to prioritize your mental health over industry expectations. She's living life on her own terms, and that's genuinely inspiring. Number 4 features Ayesha Takia, the fresh-faced beauty whose career trajectory is both inspiring for her talent and heartbreaking for how it ended. Her story is a cautionary tale about social media cruelty and its real-world consequences. Let's establish Ayesha's acting credentials first. She was a decent actress, not brilliant but genuinely good. Her debut in Tarzan the Wonder Car showed natural screen presence and bubbliness that many trained actresses lack. She had that rare quality of making ordinary dialogue sound natural and believable. Ayesha's breakthrough came with her critically acclaimed performance in Door, where she played a young widow with such authenticity that it established her as a serious actress. Then came Wanted with Salman Khan, which proved she could handle commercial cinema as effectively as art films. What made Ayesha special was her ability to convey innocence without seeming naive, strength without seeming aggressive. She had perfect casting for the modern Indian woman, roles that were becoming popular in the 2000s. Her filmography shows consistent growth as an actress. From the commercial success of Wanted to the artistic recognition of Door, she was building exactly the kind of diverse career that leads to longevity in Bollywood. Ayesha married restaurateur Farhan Azmi in 2009 at just 23 and took a break from films to focus on family. Her last film, Maud, released in 2011. Up to this point, her story was fairly typical. Successful actress chooses family over career. But then came the devastating part of her story. Social media started trolling her about her appearance. When photos of Ayesha surfaced online years later, she faced brutal criticism and speculation about cosmetic procedures. The comments were so harsh that she eventually deactivated her Instagram account. The woman who once lit up movie screens now barely appears in public. In her own words, defending herself, "Please feel free to not care about me at all. I'm not interested in any fame." It's heartbreaking to see someone who entertained millions now hiding from public scrutiny. Ayesha's story is a reminder of how cruel the internet age can be, especially to women. She went from being a beloved actress to being afraid of public spaces. That's not just career destruction, that's personal devastation. The bronze medal goes to Asin, the South Indian sensation who not only conquered Bollywood but walked away from it at the absolute peak of her powers on her own terms, with her head held high. Her story is about empowerment, smart choices, and perfect timing. Asin was someone that you could probably say was a complete package. Her Bollywood debut in Ghajini wasn't just successful, it was game-changing. She managed to hold her own opposite Amir Khan in one of his most intense roles, delivering both vulnerable emotional scenes and powerful dramatic moments, as well as the fun, carefree scenes. What made Asin a strong actress was her versatility. She could seamlessly switch from the intense drama of Ghajini to the light-hearted comedy of Reddy to the ensemble chaos of Houseful 2. Her comic timing was impeccable, her dramatic depth was genuine, and her screen presence was magnetic. Asin starred in multiple films that crossed the 100 crore mark: Ghajini, Reddy, Houseful 2, Bol Bachchan, and Khiladi 786. She wasn't just riding on star power, she was contributing to these films' success with her performances. She was a good dancer, her dialogue delivery was natural, and she had that rare quality of making every character feel distinct and memorable. Directors loved working with her, co-stars praised her professionalism, and audiences adored her. By 2015, Asin was at the absolute peak of her career. She was one of Bollywood's most bankable actresses, had established herself across multiple genres, and could command top billing in any production. And then she did something almost unheard of in Bollywood. She retired by choice. In her own clear words, "I've stopped taking up any assignments and wrapped all my commitments before my wedding itself, including my brand endorsements." Asin married Micromax co-founder Rahul Sharma, whose net worth is estimated at 1,300 crore rupees, and chose to focus entirely on building a family. She didn't fade away due to lack of opportunities or industry politics. She made a conscious, empowered decision. What made Asin's story remarkable is that she proved actresses can have agency over their careers. She didn't wait for the industry to discard her. She left on her own terms, at her peak, with her legacy intact. The silver medal belongs to Amrita Rao, Bollywood's ultimate girl next door, who chose her personal values over industry stardom and proved that sometimes the most courageous thing an actress can do is say no. Let's be absolutely clear, Amrita was genuinely gifted. Her debut in Ishq Vishk highlighted her acting instincts. She was naturally relatable no matter the role. Tomboy in Main Hoon Na, young college love-struck girl in Ishq Vishk, the simple and traditional girl in Vivah. Amrita had the rare ability to make diverse characters feel equally genuine. She never seemed like she was acting. Her performances felt like glimpses into real people's lives. Vivah wasn't just a hit, it was a cultural phenomenon. Amrita's portrayal of Poonam became the template for the ideal Indian daughter-in-law and influenced an entire generation's perception of marriage and relationships. What made Amrita special wasn't just her acting or sweet looks, it was her authenticity. In an industry that often demands actresses to transform themselves beyond recognition, she remained determinedly herself. But here's where Amrita's story becomes truly remarkable. She consistently chose her personal values over career advancement, even when it cost her major opportunities. Amrita turned down massive films from Yash Raj Films, Neil and Nikki and Bachna Hai Hasino because she was uncomfortable with intimate scenes. When Aditya Chopra offered to make her a YRF in-house heroine, she still said no because the content didn't align with her values. In her own powerful words about intimate scenes, "Lovemaking is so personal to me that if I do it on screen, it's like leaving a part of my soul. I cannot do that." That's not prudishness. That's personal integrity. Even when her then boyfriend, now husband, RJ Anmol initially pressured her to quit acting for marriage, she stood her ground until he realized his demand was unreasonable and apologized. Amrita's career philosophy was revolutionary. "I had the privilege of refusing offers because I was not comfortable with doing certain intimate scenes." She proved that actresses could have boundaries and still maintain careers. Her recent comeback announcement with Jolly LLB 3 after a 6-year hiatus shows that talent and integrity create lasting value. Directors still want to work with her because they know she brings authenticity to every role. Amrita proved that an actress doesn't have to compromise her values to succeed. She built a career on her own terms and created a template for how actresses can maintain both stardom and self-values. And the number 1 spot goes to Amisha Patel, the actress whose career story reads like the most dramatic Bollywood script ever written. From giving 2 massive blockbusters that changed Indian cinema forever to becoming a cautionary tale about the industry's dark side, and then making one of the most surprising comebacks in recent memory. Let's establish this from the very beginning. At her peak, Amisha was absolutely phenomenal. Her debut in Kaho Na Pyar Hai opposite Hrithik Roshan wasn't just successful, it was pitch perfect. She brought innocence, charm, and natural on-screen chemistry that made the movie magical. But it was Gaddar, Ek Prem Katha, that truly showcased Amisha's range and talent. Playing Sakina, a Muslim woman torn between love and family during partition, she delivered a performance that was both powerful and heartbreaking. This wasn't just commercial cinema, this was acting of the highest caliber. Think about this, Amisha gave 2 huge blockbusters with completely different characters. From the modern bubbly girl in Kaho Na Pyar Hai to the traditional conflicted woman in Gaddar, she proved she had genuine versatility and screen presence. She had everything that makes a superstar: acting ability, stunning screen presence, looks, the rare quality that makes audiences emotionally invest in characters, and the box office numbers to prove her commercial viability. So, what went wrong? How did someone with such incredible hits and massive success become a cautionary tale? The answer is a perfect storm of family betrayal, industry politics, personal relationships, and questionable career choices. First came the family betrayal. Amisha's father, Amit Patel, who was also her manager, used her hard-earned money from her blockbuster films to restart his failing business. When she asked for her tax papers and account details, he couldn't provide them. Imagine working at the peak of your career, earning crores from hit films, only to discover that your own father has mismanaged and misused your earnings worth 120 million rupees. In 2004, she had to send her own father a legal notice demanding her money back. Then came the relationship with director Vikram Bhatt, which created a rift with her family and affected her public image. Success allegedly went to her head, leading to attitude problems that made her difficult to work with. From 2003 to 2007, Amisha faced a string of flops. Films like Aap Mujhe Achhe Lagne Lage, Kranti, Ye Hai Jalwa, and others failed to connect with audiences. The actress who seemed unstoppable suddenly couldn't deliver a hit. The combination of personal betrayals, financial stress, relationship controversies, and professional failures created a downward spiral that seemed impossible to escape. The next big thing of Bollywood became a symbol of wasted potential. For years, Amisha struggled to regain her footing. She appeared in small roles, item numbers, and supporting parts in films that barely registered with audiences. The actress, who once commanded leading roles, was reduced to cameos and special appearances. But here's what makes Amisha's story ultimately inspiring. She never gave up. Despite facing betrayal, financial ruin, and industry rejection, she kept working, kept trying, and kept believing. And then came 2023, Gaddar 2. Amisha reprised her iconic role as Sakina, and something magical happened. Audiences remembered exactly why they fell in love with her in the first place. Gadar 2 became one of the highest grossing films of 2023, and Amisha's performance received widespread appreciation. She proved that genuine talent doesn't disappear. It just needs the right opportunity to shine again. Amisha's story teaches us that setbacks don't define careers, and that sometimes the best comeback is simply reminding people why you were loved in the first place. She represents every person who's been knocked down by circumstances, betrayed by those they trusted, and written off by industries that are quick to judge. These 11 actresses represent different eras, different challenges, and different outcomes, but their collective stories reveal consistent patterns. From Gita Basra losing films due to marriage assumptions, to Amrita Rao being pressured to compromise her values, from Ileana de Cruz facing mental health challenges to Amisha Patel dealing with family betrayal, these stories expose systemic issues that go far beyond individual career choices. The marriage penalty has been particularly brutal. Actresses like Bhumika and Sameera faced assumptions about their commitment the moment they got married, while their male counterparts continued working well into their 60s and 70s without similar scrutiny. The pressure to maintain youth and beauty through artificial means has driven women like Sameera Reddy to completely step away from the industry rather than undergo procedures she wasn't comfortable with. In the case of Ayesha Takia, the brutal trolling women receive online for their appearance is something their male counterparts rarely need to deal with. But here's the encouraging part. The industry is gradually changing. Modern actresses like Priyanka Chopra, Deepika Padukone, and Kareena Kapoor Khan are successfully balancing marriage, motherhood, and thriving careers. The conversation about mental health is improving, thanks to brave voices like Ileana de Cruz, who spoke openly about depression and body dysmorphia. Audiences are demanding better, more substantial content for women. These stories remind us that behind every glamorous career are real human beings dealing with family pressures, industry politics, personal struggles, and societal expectations. Their choices deserve our understanding, not our judgment. So which of these actresses do you miss seeing more of on the big screen the most? Who amongst them was your favorite? Do you think our rankings fairly represent their acting abilities and career impact? And were there any stories that genuinely surprised you or changed your perspective? Drop your thoughts in the comments, but let's keep this conversation respectful and constructive. These are real women who made real sacrifices and faced real challenges. They deserve our empathy, not our judgment. If you found this both entertaining and enlightening, show your appreciation by hitting that like button and subscribing for more honest content about the entertainment industry. This is CelebrAsian, where we celebrate talent, acknowledge struggles, analyze industry patterns, and keep the conversation both entertaining and respectful. Until next time, remember that behind every career decision is a human story worth understanding.